Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back with another Wealth Wednesday. My name is Corey Phillips, and I'm here with another special guest, my triplet brother, my older brother, Christian. He'll be a guest today. I know
What's up,
Justin
y'all?
in a little bit. So we're going to get started. Make sure to share this to your family. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we're back with another high level conversation so we can all continue to engage and share this information to our families and build wealth collectively. Because that's truly what it's all about. And my name is Corey Phillips. I'm the founder and CEO of Social Storm LLC. I teach financial literacy to youth across the world. So make sure to subscribe and share this content. If you want to book me as a speaker, book me at coreyphillips.org. Or if you want to be able to contact with me, feel free to like and subscribe and share this to your family. And Christian, give everyone here an introduction, a little bit on me, but they may not know who you are. Tell them about who you are and some of the stuff that you're doing.
Okay, so I'm obviously Corey's brother, but if people don't know that, I'm Christian Phillips. I'm a 22-year-old senior at Southern University with a major of broadcast journalism. So what I do is I do a lot of photography, videography work, but even outside of that, I do a lot of helping people with branding and helping people with trying to figure out how they can articulate their crafts and skills to position themselves to better brand themselves.
Yeah, so cool. So just how do you feel like you got started in this so people can kind of resonate? How do you did you get started in this industry, and then tell us some of the work that you've done over the last year?
Okay, so I would say some of the things that I've basically how I got started is that I end up doing basically my dad, he had some work with photography before, so then I was able to just pick up some skills from how he's done photography, be able to use his camera growing up just to take random pictures, things like that. But then even as we go into progress to my senior year of high school, is that I end up wanting to get into basically how can I make myself a better person outside of sports, or how can I what can I do outside of running. So then I prayed and then asked God to give me a skill, so I end up developing the skill of YouTube. So I started recording with my YouTube phone, with my phone to do YouTube, and then from there I picked up the photography for camera, and then I from there I've just been when I touched down at Southern University and HBCU, I just did basically everything. I would go to events, take pictures, get videos, make YouTube videos, and all those things. And then over the past 4 years, I've just been able to develop that skill to the point where in the past year, I've worked with a lot of my school in the athletic department. So with football, I've made videos and done created content for them. I've created content for the Obama Foundation. I've created content for a plethora of different brands and individual people, and that's something that I'm honestly proud of something I was able to do in the past year.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. That's something that we typically might not see, like people might not know how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's something that we can truly be inspired by. I know we have another guest coming up to the stage. So I'll be adding Ian. So Ian, you know, my business partner. Give everyone a brief introduction of who you are, what you're doing, so people can get acclimated, and some of the work that you're doing. We might have heard a new brand coming, a new idea, a new thing happening in 2026. Let the crowd know. Let us know what you got cooking for this new year.
Appreciate y'all, family. My name is Ian Alphonse. I'm a current junior studying health science at North Central College in Naperville. So, nonetheless, I am the co-founder of Social Storm, and it's been a blessing to be a part of, a movement that's really helping educate young entrepreneurs and young leaders in Chicago. Nonetheless, I have a different purpose as well. It's still in alignment, but I'm building out my own brand called Wealthy Kingdom. And the way I spell wealth is not the same. It's WHEALTHY Kingdom. And when you break it down, it spells we heal thy kingdom. And health is at the center of wealth, and that's something I believe as a health science student. Nonetheless, that's gonna be the foundation. health is the key to wealth, and wealth is not money, it's a mindset and it's a lifestyle. So that's gonna be my brand. I'm really interested and excited in all the different things God has in store. And I just really wanna, in 2026, put my brand as a staple in terms of the next health and wellness brand that's gonna be upcoming, become a public speaker, and before the end of 2025, read 10 books to finish off my year right. Right now, I'm on my third book, and I think when I give a recap of what I learned in this book, y'all gonna like it. Nonetheless, thank you for welcoming me to the podcast, and I appreciate y'all so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We speaking that to an existence. We working from all cylinders, from creating health and also creating that production. I remind you, everyone, we are all under the age of 25. I'm 22. Christian's 22. He is 20, and it's all about the collaboration between each other, because that's truly what really matters. From how we prepare ourselves mentally, how we prepare ourselves physically, and how we build our relationships. And no matter how good you think you are, it's all about collaboration. It's all about basically how we can compete together, how we can also basically have conversations, and how we can just change things holistically. So I got a couple of topics for this week. We have a lot of topics about how different young people can navigate, because it's kind of a world of two economies. There's a lot of things with artificial intelligence, a lot of things happening in the world of wealth building, a lot of things that's happening in our communities. And people just want to know like how to be able to navigate that. So one of my questions for you all is just like, do you all feel like that is something that you help yourself as far as building who you are and your personal brand? Is that something that you feel like is something important, your own personal brand online in this new age of automation? What do you think, Christian and Ian? Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, so you said the question was how our like personal brand has impacted like financial literacy, or what was your question again?
Listen, overall in terms of identity, because internet now rewards a lot of people who have truly authentic messages, and it's not necessarily people that might not have 100% like a PhD or something. They might just have a strong digital presence because they connect with people, and a lot of people really don't want to be connected with brands who don't support their values or who they can relate to. How do you feel it's important to build your personal brand, and how are you doing that in 2025 and 2026?
So I would say how I'm building my personal brand is, for the people who do not know, I'm actually a Division I athlete at Southern University A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So working at the Division I level, we're able to see a bunch of people varying from the people who are running pro times to the people who are running for fun. Is that you have a vast different area of talents and abilities. And I would say coming from that identity or coming from that forefront is that with me being around a bunch of athletes is that obviously I get to view things from a different perspective. So one way that I want to tackle my identity is that I do a lot of brand stuff and photography stuff, like I mentioned earlier. So my thing is really helping content creators in general or brands figure out how to best market themselves. And the way that I'm marketing myself is to create more content along the ideas of teaching people what branding is, to be able to showcase some of my work on how I'm able to brand people through my photo shoots, through my media engagements and all that. And then also just highlight that the athlete side so that people can get the student athlete feel from me as well.
Yeah. And working with different student athletes, what do you feel like is the biggest things that they can do, especially in this world of NIL and personal branding as a college athlete?
Well, I feel like the best way that people can market themselves, especially athletes, is to really take advantage of the way people view them. Because at the end of the day, athletes on campus, they are the people who I'm not saying idolize, but people can tend to idolize or tend to hold athletes to a higher standard. So I would say they need to take advantage of the platform that they have, whether they have a social movement that they want to push, whether they have a certain agenda that they want to push, that they really take advantage of that and really highlight ways that they can help the community. Because even through like working with other athletes and people like that, I've also heard the term that like athletes are almost required to give back because of the way that their platform entails. So I really just encourage athletes to basically remember how high their platform is so that they can give back to people, but also to represent, I would say, their personal values and represent the way that they want to be interacted with better, because like with having a higher standard, that means that you have more eyes on you that you need to steward well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's something that's so important that a lot of athletes are just being able to capitalize off the positions at the end, being at different universities or institutions, resources that they have, that every person has a different avenue to them, whether that's their last name or that's something cool that they have, a special talent or a special skill set, that
Right.
all different
Right.
parts of you is brandable. And it's not that people are not interesting, is that people don't share enough about their own story to help them stand out and help them connect with
Mhm.
others that resonate. What do you think about that? How do you feel like you building your brand or things that you've seen with people that have successful brands that you feel like people can learn from?
Man, I've had firsthand experience having seen the way in which Social Sum has grown. So nonetheless, it's been a blessing to see that. But it's also, as a co-founder looking to become a CEO and founder of my own brand, um, there's been times where anxiety, procrastination, and doubt has plagued me. And I just like to directly talk to the individual who's on the track towards developing their brand or having a plan for what they want to do on social media. I need you to understand, repeat these three affirmations, right? I am wealthy, I am legendary, I'm free. I'm wealthy in mindset, I'm legendary as a leader, and I'm free to learn, to lead, and to love myself. And oftentimes, when those likes not going your way, when the views ain't going your way, it's easy to forget this. That's why I say take time to affirm yourself before you even post. And personally, as I'm building on my brand, I'm coming from the perspective, Adam as a Christian. Christian said that he came from the perspective of seeing athletes. I come from the perspective being a 20-year-old, being really heavily like in the space of entrepreneurship and business, seeing older men and older women, more established people really pouring into their craft and talking to me about the knowledge and the mindset that they have. And me being 20 years old, brothers and sisters, it is really changing my life. It's changing my mindset. And now I'm really learning to love myself more. And with that being said, I've started posting content more consistently. I've started taking time to think about my brand. And at first, I started posting without a strategy. That's cool, but you know, you must write the plan before you become the blueprint. With me now having wealthy kingdom, having really taken time to introspect and figure out what I like as a health science student, how I want to portray myself to my audience. The planning has helped me to be a little bit more clear, a lot bit more clear in terms of what I want to do as a health science student. I want to educate youth. I want to get my degree and become a physical therapist. And I want to have my own physical therapy practice, allowing more people to be introduced into the practice. And it's clear because it was a lot of setbacks. And every time I had another setback in the same area, I always inch closer. And that's something that you can do. Always inch closer. Never doubt yourself. And if you do, tell yourself, I am wealthy. I'm legendary. I'm free. I am wealthy in mindset. I am legendary as a leader. And I'm free to learn, to lead, and to love myself.
And that's it. And actually, adding on to that topic is that when it comes to branding, is that that's something that I've actually been doing a lot of research in recently, and analyzing what do big brands do to basically make themselves different. What does Under Armour have to do? What do they do that makes like the local shoe shop? What do they do that is different from other people? And something that I've really noticed through like analyzing brands is that they have a sense of relatability, that they are trying to relate to people. So they're not just so even when you think about a New Balance or Under Armour, obviously people think of a brand of particularly sports. Some people think of fashions, but things like that. But people the brands are really trying to focus on basically relatability. So if we like look at different brands, I would say when people think of Under Armour, people typically probably think about football or basketball because of
Right.
Stephen Curry or the Under Armour age of football. But they also post content even outside of football on like fashion. They might show people doing podcasts. They might show people, I would say, athletes or maybe famous celebrities just in it. And people might think, why is a random celebrity that cooks food wearing an Under Armour shoe or wearing Under Armour shirt? And that might just seem random to people. But brands actually do very intentional things on who they reach out to and who they connect with, so that they can bring in a new audience, bring in the TikTok people who are maybe the younger teenagers, bring in age where they might bring in like the older generation back to the product they have, or even the athletes or everyone. They're trying to find ways to bring new avenues, new people in, and things of that nature to really open their brand. And that's something that I've truly noticed in the past few days.
Christian, I got something to say to that. Nonetheless, Corey, I really do appreciate you bringing us all together. Again, I told you my need in terms of needing help in terms of branding. And brother Christian, you gave me some more insight, and I really do appreciate you for this. Again, thank you for this platform to be able to collaborate with each other and to share this knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important with branding. Every single part of you is brandable. Like we said, if each of us are educator, we're all in a specific industry, and we don't showcase those different avenues of us that truly make us special, then it's going to be hard for us to stand out. Everyone looks at us and might see us as a specific educator, but you might be a brother, you might be a sister, you might be a special talent, you might have to speak well, you might, all those different things. From the color you wear is so intentional. Like, because the way your color feels on you gives people a certain type of thing that gives people an opportunity to feel some type of way. But everything's so important to be intentional with our brand. Like, it's something that's always evolving. So you don't have to have the perfect brand now, but it always evolves as you grow and as you build. But know that, don't let that indecisiveness or let things that knowing that you don't have it all 100% figured out, is that you have to stop there. Like, The Rock didn't become The Rock overnight. He had to eventually build that up to the person he is today. And same with everyone. It's always a journey that you all continue to build on, and you continue to elevate as you move into new spaces. Like, Social Storm that we had wasn't Social Storm. At first, it was a social media marketing company. We first started it, and then we started doing just online video, social media marketing, then doing social media plans and videography, and then eventually to be able to do events, and then eventually some financial literacy, and now creating a platform for others. The brand elevated over the course of time until it got to where it is today, where it's always moving into different directions. So don't let where it is today stop you. A company like NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a company that started off as a video game company producing video game equipment, and now it's producing GPU chips for artificial intelligence. All these different companies, all these different people have to reinvent themselves to become the person they are today. So there's always something about it. And I just had Justin just join the chat. Let us know how you're feeling. I know you got Over East. How do you feel that Over East built that brand from its name to itself, and what you feel like it represents?
First, I'd like to apologize for being late again, brother. Appreciate you for coming on here with y'all, man. What's up, Christian? What's up, Ian? How
What's
y'all
up?
feeling?
Doing good, brother.
To answer your question, man, it's a long journey, and I like to start off where you left off at. With everything is not gonna be, when you want it to be or how you want it to be instantly. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, again, like you said, how NVIDIA started off and where it's at today. It's very hard for us to think of that, because we want this to happen as soon as possible. But real good brands and real good businesses take a lot of time, a lot of experience, a lot of time. No matter how much money you have behind you, no matter how many connections, it takes a lot of time. You know, my clothing brand is Over East. I look at a brand like Supreme, like Bape, that has been around a long time, you know, and not only been around a long time, but still has made a lot of money and still stay active and popular, you know, and they have their own, how can I say it? They have their own style, right? And that's why I like their brand so much, because they took the time to build out their own brand. So now they can withstand each and every single season, you know, every new trend or anything, because it's their own trend. Like for an example, we have a brand called Hellstar, right? They put, you know, Hellstar on it and they put flames on it and stuff like that. And literally most of every single clothing brand I have seen in that era, they were making stuff like Hellstar, you know, and that's perfectly fine. But those brands who copied off Hellstar, they're not gonna last long because they don't have their own style. You get what I'm saying? So when it came to Over East, you know, and I'm still building it, you know, it's gonna go on 2 years. You know, I'm still building it. I'm still making connections. I'm still gaining experience. You know, and you know, wanting to do it right, even though you'll never do things right. But to answer your question, just to see like the process, I love it, and I feel like with things like this, with business, with something that you need to build a long time, you want to make sure that you're ready to lock in for 5 to 10 years. And I'm not gonna say not see any results, because you should be seeing results, you know, in progress. But to understand that, hey, it may take 5 to 10 years for this to be where exactly you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be okay with that. And you have to put the work in, and you have to continue to grind. You know, not knowing that this may take 5 to 10 years. And sometimes you have to have that doubt in your head that it may take longer than that. You know, we don't want to think like that. We want to get it done as quick as possible, quicker than the 5 to 10 years. But it may take that long. And entrepreneurs are looked at as crazy until they're not crazy anymore. So continue to grind, continue to build out that brand, continue to build out that business, and look crazy to everyone and take those risks. Because at the end of the day, NVIDIA didn't get to where it's supposed to be without, you know, with caring about what everybody else thinks. Are you making chips to put in computers? That's not gonna be you know what I'm saying? Like everything, Amazon. How are we gonna shop all online from here? I'll just go to Walmart, you know. And now everyone shops at Amazon, and I could continue to go down the list of all these businesses and all these brands who just didn't care about what nobody thought. And not only didn't care about it, man, it's in the word. You know, I'm a man of God, and I always go back to the word, bro. And we were just speaking about this in Bible study as I just left, but we were speaking about Noah's Ark. Noah built the ark for 125 years. And to the whole world, he was telling them, hey, we got to build this. God is going to flood the earth. You know, and him putting in work for 125 years, hey, look, that's not even an average human lifespan right now, you know, and he waited that long. And not only did he wait that long, he put the work in all those years to build that big ark that sustained him and his family to be alive, you know, through the great flood. So I just say, man, if God could do it for Noah, why he can't do it for you? And I'm pretty sure nobody else in here or on this earth gonna wait 125 years, you know, to make a business go crazy, you know. But if Noah could wait that long and look like a fool to the whole world, what is it to you to look a fool to your friends, to your family, to your social media? And you know, you're gonna create a business that's gonna create generational wealth. So just keep going. You know, I'm steady going. You know, Corey, bro, me and Ian met last year. I think y'all did one event. You know, I did one event. It was my first one speaking at, bro. And we met, I think, early November or late October, right after my birthday. And man, like where we at now, it's a blessing, you know. And I feel like we both had that same. We all three of us had that same mindset. Like we don't care what nobody think. We're doing this for us, for our people, and we're gonna continue to do it. You know, no matter what. Oh, nobody's showing up. A lot of people not showing up. But we had so many people RSVP, and a third of them will show up. But we still rock that networking event out like it was, you know, us speaking at InvestFest or EY. You know what I'm saying? Like we still do it just like that because that's what it's gonna be one day, and it's gonna be bigger. You know, so just continue to work like you're already there. You know, and continue to work because you need to get there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope I answered the question.
That's love.
That's actually a great question. I actually have a backup question or a follow-up question to that. So what would you say is the biggest risk that you took to build your brand that ended up, I would say, helping you in the end, or like helping you in the process that makes the brand what it is today?
Man, really where it's at today. It's nowhere near where I want it to be. But what I had to take a step back from the brand and put the pride to the side. So basically, take a step back from it to do what the brand needs. For an example, to explain more into context, so it could be more understanding. I had to take a step back from Over East to focus more on my credit repair / funding business, because that's the brand. My bad. That's the stream of income that's gonna not only just pay for my bills, but put me in a position where I don't have to stress about financials, so I can work on my passion. Over East is my passion. I feel like anybody who creates a clothing brand is gonna be your passion, unless you're just gonna be chasing money. I don't think that's a field nobody should just get in just for money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, I want to be an artist just for money. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lose the love of it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the most important risk was stepping back and from going all in and investing into the business and creating more clothes, even though everyone wants to, buy my clothes, my family, my friends, the people on social media, the community that I built around it, everyone keeps asking me for clothes, and it hurts sometimes, but I have to put the pride to the side and say, now is not the time. The time is to build it up for the long run. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can go make a lot of clothes. I can go make a lot of clothes and just drop right here. But my whole thing, I want a storefront. So if I want this big goal and I want to set this brand up for longevity, I need to do what I need to do. Regardless of how I feel, regardless of what this world feels like, I need to do what is right. And that's putting everything to the side, the pride to the side, to set this brand up for the long run. So again, for me, that was taking care of my financials, so I don't have to depend on selling 10 t-shirts to pay my bills. Because at that point, I'm gonna start creating clothes based off trending clothes that's going on right now. I'm gonna start selling them at lower than my value just to sell them to make bills, when they are really what's the name? They're really worth way more value. But we'll start doing those certain type of things just because we want it to work, just because we want it to sell. We want it, and we'll start devaluing our brand, devaluing our business, devaluing our sales, and getting paid less than what we worth. So I just ask, that, man, do what you need to do, put the pride to the side, and take that risk of maybe taking a break. But mine was taking a break from the brand. I do still do a little stuff here and there and promote the brand as much as I can. But I also make sure that, hey, if this is not what it needs to be right now, it's okay to take a step back. Because what God has planned for you, what God has in store for that brand, for that business, He's going to make sure it's worth it. And sometimes it takes a little detour. Sometimes it takes a little break. But you still got to be in it for the long run, and that's all that matters. If you really want that, like, I don't think Amazon was just thinking, hey, let's just sell to the city right now online. Nah, he wanted to take over the whole, world, wanted to change it, and he did do that. But I feel like he did a lot of Jeff Bezos took a lot of risks, and stepped back probably sometimes and did things that was uncomfortable, so he can make sure that this was set up for the long run and have a good foundation that the Amazon is built on today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, you were specifically that standpoint of having a mindset of truly building something. It's harder to become the person itself to build $1 million business than it does for the business to build $1 million. And oftentimes we want everything instantly. So it's so important that we find different ways on how to find that mindset where, am I willing to give up these small things today and really have that thing happen tomorrow? And that's something that we need to understand, is that all great things take time. And there's people that might not believe in you 100% of the time, but you have to know that you're true to yourself and that things will continue to get better over the course of time and just keep working. Most things that don't fail because people aren't good enough is because they don't take enough risks. And the biggest risk you can take is investing in yourself. You'll see things grow tremendously. So that's one thing on that. Were you gonna say anything about that, Chris?
No.
Okay. But what do you all feel like the biggest thing that you feel like young people should emphasize in terms of how they view themselves, in terms of building that person they want to be despite the situation that they're in.
That's a new one. Yo, that's really my brand, right? Honestly, I've come from a position where I'm going through that phase right now, the biggest developmental phase of my life, 20 years old. And for those who might be younger than me, those who want to learn themselves, really, you need to focus in these 4 areas of your life: your purpose, your health, your finances, and your social life. Honestly, for me personally, I make sure to do this by setting out goals for myself in my day in these 4 areas, right? And I put 3 goals in each of these 4 pillars just so that I can continue to do something day by day. Now, oftentimes we think we need to do a lot in this area or that area of our lives and every day, and it becomes very overwhelming. So to just do a couple of things day by day, we will see over the course of time how impactful it will be in your life. And I remember, like I said, I posted recently, I was at 236 at beginning of the summer, this summer. And I told myself I want to get to 210. In terms of my health goal, I had to focus in on my nutrition and I had to focus in on my physical. Like when I go to the gym, I made gym schedules, I made nutrition schedules, and I actually tracked my meals just so I can know that I'm on track, right? And in doing so, currently I'm at 216. The weight fell because something shifted. I was being more intentional with my health. In terms of my grades, I recently posted that I just got a 82 on my bio exam, and that's one of my hardest classes. But what I told myself is, in my working money, I'm going to plan to study more, and I put in my schedule, my planner. This time on this day, I'll schedule for this long, and that helped my grades become better. So the more in which you focus on these 4 areas of your life, like I said, your purpose and spirituality, your love and relationships, your working money, like your finances, and your health and well-being, this is like your overall health, mind, body, spirit, you will become somebody in alignment, somebody that is ready to understand their purpose.
Yeah, that's actually like really, really good because it basically implies that like basically thinking of them as like your 4 kingdoms, where like if you had one of them, like if 3 out of the 4 are perfect, but you don't have any relationships, then what is your life? Or you might have the people, you might have the relationships, you might have the health, but if you don't have any money to support it, you're gonna be just as just as miserable without all the other ones. But I would say that for me, I would say tying those in, I almost think of it almost like a pyramid, basically tying all those things in. So basically, on the foundation is my faith, which is my relationship with God. Because even like throughout this semester, is that I've noticed that I may have had other areas in my life that were like working, but if my relationship with God is struggling, then it's basically everything that I do is inherently meaningless. I know that sounds like a little like dark or gloomy, but even in Ecclesiastes, is that many people coin the book Ecclesiastes as like a almost like a depressing book or things like that. But the whole scheme of the book is to highlight that without God, what are we? And I'll say for me personally, that's my foundation. I'm not sure what you guys believe in or the people watching this, what you guys believe in, but that's my foundation is Christ. And then through that, I'm able to build like my health, which is running, trying to find ways to run outside of my sport. Because even with being an athlete, many people, I would say many people, I've observed many people in the sport of doing this at the Division 1 level, they love, they they get the money, they have all the scholarships, but most of the people don't even enjoy the sport that they do. They come here their freshman year and they just waiting to graduate. They just waiting to graduate so they can never do the sport again. And that's something that's honestly sad that like many people is basically become a reality, that many people come to the Division 1 level, don't realize the effort it takes to do it, and they end up dreading the sport that they once loved because they never saw the sport as like a constant a constant battle, but they never had the time or the fruit to enjoy it. So that's why over the past few years, specifically over the past year, I've really focused on trying to do things, even run outside of my sport, because I'm a distance runner. I train cross country and track. So what I do is I try to run sometimes outside of my sport to really get the, not just for health, because I already run well, I'm already fit. So that's not the issue. The issue is to be able to see running as something that I love and not something that I'm a burden to doing. So that's one of my foundations. And then the other side is creativity that spurs from there. And then obviously my talents, and then that's everything that spurs from what I listed under.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, like it's most important for people to understand what they truly view of themselves, like understanding what their identity is. Can you all hear my mic?
Yeah.
Is there echoing?
Yeah, we can hear, but it's a little echo.
Okay. Yeah, so like I mentioned, it's so important for people to understand what their identity is, because it's just so important for people to let me get this mic off real quick.
Right. Corey, talking about identity, it's easy for us to forget who we are, but first we got to remember whose we are. We are oftentimes children of God.
Amen.
And I remember you talking, Christian, talking about God, right? And without God,
Yeah.
who are cool.
Nothing. I said nothing.
Yes, it's good.
Dirt.
I know. But yeah, in my heart, man, God is love, right? And they say that man can be as mighty as he wants to be, but without love, who is he? And God is love. So I'm in alignment with you, Christian, on that note. Corey, you back on? Are we good?
Yeah, back on. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, you perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, the main thing I like trying to emphasize is understanding who you are in your identity, because people truly are in the same spot where they might not be at the spot where they want to be at, and it's okay, because you're in the current situation of where you're at, not because of you're not valuable enough. You just might not be at the right spot of where you're going to be. But we have to see ourselves, and I was talking about building wealth. If you're surrounding yourself in a poverty mindset, it doesn't matter how much money you'll make, you'll always be in that position. If you're someone who doesn't be able to build that up in terms of who you truly are and have ownership in your life and things that you do, then you can't expect other people to give that to you, because you have to be the greatest version of yourself before anybody else can. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So you got to believe in yourself before you do each and everything, before other people can do that. Whether that's having ownership and just showing up for yourself, showing up to your goals, to doing the things that you say you're doing. Those small things builds confidence. Those small things over the course of time compound into that person that becomes the habits. And then when that habits to become the person that you're eventually known for. And a lot of people are trying to get these big ideas, these big goals, and these things that are high level things, but we don't have those first two foundation of who we are, and then having that ownership in those avenues of our life to become that person that we always desired, because a dream without action is just a wish. And just continue to understand that everyone says, okay, I'm not there yet, I'm not ready, but you'll never truly be ready. You'll never truly be ready. You'll never be perfect. So wherever you're at now, just have that ability to push yourself forward, have the ability to put yourself in a position where you can be heard, where you can be seen, where you can learn, because you'll get there 10 times faster if you just go and take action as someone who knows all this information but can't actually take the action. So that's so important. It's never been about who's the smartest. It's never about who's strong. It's never about who's even right. But people who are able to really have that belief in themselves and be able to continue to utilize that regardless of what happens are the people that see a lot of success.
Faith without works is dead.
Absolutely. I have a couple questions. A lot of people, how do you feel like is something that you feel like the difference between just building followers and the difference between people that truly build legacy? You look at greats, you look at people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Freddie Hampton, people in business. How do you feel like people build a real brand? Not just building followers, but building something that lives far beyond you. You see people like Michael Jordan. He hasn't played in the NBA in over 20 years. Yet he was the highest selling speaker. Think of people like Kobe Bryant, who's redefined the game of basketball. You look at people that Usain Bolt, people like that, like people who define the world in terms of building something that's truly a legacy that they left behind.
Well, I would say the difference between a following base and a legacy is the intention, or what was the term called? The message. So the difference between the followers and the legacy is the message. So the reason I say that is because just to gain followers, you just have to say what is acceptable, say what is liked, or have a belief system that is based on what everyone else likes. You'll have the following, because that's just what comes with it. But to build a legacy is to not just follow what everyone else says, but to have your own dreams, have your own desires, and to basically work at that to go on with your life. So if you think about Martin Luther King, is that the reason that his message stood out, or the reason that he was such an influential speaker, was because he had a message. He had the message to basically help the Black community have the same rights as our equal counterparts. But even despite that he had faced a lot of criticism, a lot of drawback, and he still stood strong in his convictions. The same thing with, I'll say, Muhammad Ali, is that even outside of boxing, is he had a political presence, that he stood for something bigger than boxing and things like that. And then even if you tie it to faith, is that if you think about Jesus, is that he had the claim to basically be the Son of God, which is basically unheard of at the time, and something that is completely, that was based on what they thought was seemed something that was contradictory in their minds, but it actually wasn't, because everything that he said was true. So even if you think of him from a political standpoint, or all those influential people, is that think about that, is that even with the Bible, Jesus died 2,000 years ago, and he's still the biggest name to ever been spoken on this earth. Despite despite on how people feel of him, people typically have two reactions when they hear about him. People end up thinking of the reaction where it's like the Christians, where like we like obviously like try to get close to Jesus, but then you have the other side, or you mention the name Jesus or God, and people can want to just reject it. Or even outside of faith, is that those are a lot ideas with those other names too. So it's basically just have a message that even despite facing criticism, that you are willing to withstand the drawbacks to make a greater impact.
Right. Justin recently said something regarding the clothing brand industry. Oftentimes, when it comes to those who are gaining followers, it's because they're following a trend. But when it becomes a legacy, it's the person who came up with the idea, and they executed the idea, and it grew into their thing. Hillstar is their thing. Over East, he's building that up. That's going to pop off one day. It's going to be his thing. And then those people who want to grow their following will be following the Over East trend and creating their own designs from his initial template. But Justin, I want you to explain a little bit more on that, because I know you got some insight in this area.
Nah, for sure. Like you mentioned, Corey, we talked about Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and I believe the difference between everyone is that they were different. You know, so when it comes to just doing anything in life, I feel like you have to be yourself. And like Christian explained, me personally, I feel like you don't know yourself until you know God. God put us all on this earth for a reason, and a purpose. And I feel like the most success you can ever get is becoming who God has created you to be.
Mm.
So, you know, we all are blessed with a lot of gifts, and God blessed us with those gifts for a reason. So when we pursue those gifts and we be who we are, we don't try to be the next Michael Jordan. That doesn't get you remembered. You know what I'm saying? Again, like you said, Ian, a brand trying to be like Hellstar or a brand trying to be like Louis Vuitton or anything else, that don't get you remembered as being that brand for the name. It gets you remembered for being a brand under that name or a person under this person. I don't want to play like yourself. I don't want to be like this business. Be your own business. Yes, you can take inspiration. Okay, I learned this move from Jordan. Let me add my little whatever I think could be best. Okay, I learned this business model from such and such. I learned this business system from such and such. Let me put my own sauce, my own shazam on it to make it who God has called it to be. You know, not even called it to be, but let me make it let me do it my way. And your way is gonna pop whenever it's supposed to pop. You may think it's supposed to pop right then and there, but that's not always the case. But the whole goal overall is to be you. Is to be who God has created you to be. Is to be and conquer the dream that you have. All of us don't have these same dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we may share the same motives, you know, like, okay, I'm doing it for this reason and stuff like that. But we all have our own way on how we think. We all, I don't know if y'all ever looked, but bro, like everyone has different fingerprints. You know what I'm saying? So if God created us all to be different, like no one truly identically looks the exact same. Like even with twins, like Corey, Christian, and I forgot y'all other brother. Y'all three are twins. You know what I'm saying? And even like, you know, the two identical twins, you know, when it's just two twins, they're never exactly the same. Like that you could tell them apart a little bit. It's always something, you know, that you could tell, like, okay, this twin is that twin. So no one is ever the same. It's made the same. So why would you create the same? You get what I'm saying? God created us differently. So why would you be created differently and then you go produce differently? You get what I'm saying? I mean, the same as everyone. Why would I go produce after someone else who had produced this way? Now let me go produce differently, because no one can produce like you. And that's why I say with business, don't ever get discouraged. Don't ever feel like you're competing against the whole world, because nobody's going to run that business like you're going to run it. Nobody's going to play like you play. No one is going to perform like you're going to perform. No one is going to speak like you're going to speak, because it's you. No one on this earth can be you. Not even AI. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all been watching the AI stuff, but AI, you can even tell it's AI. You know, nothing can be replicated like you. You know? So yeah, just have that confidence and know that I feel like when you have that confidence, it makes you want to go harder, because you know nobody can compete with you. I feel like that's why, again, the greats were the greats, because they knew who they were. They knew that you may be good at this, but I'm good at this. This is me. This is how I play. You know what I'm saying? Or this is how I perform. This is how I'm going to run a business. No one's going to run this business like me. I feel like even if you have the whole blueprint, even if you have studied Michael Jordan down day by day and watched him train, you still weren't able to beat him. People were watching Jordan, knew what he was gonna do, and they still losing. You know what I'm saying? Things, your blueprint to your business, your systems, all can be out, but nothing can stop what God has in store for you. Nobody can produce like you. Remember that. Nobody can create like you. God created you differently than anybody on this earth, and no one has what you have. So take it in and understand how valuable that is, and understand that nobody can replicate that.
Absolutely. That's so powerful, because it's like anyone can just try to fake to be something. They can buy followers. They can copy authenticity for success, but authenticity is something that people cannot replicate. It can't be stolen. It can't be duplicated. It can't be replaced. It's something that truly people need in today's age. We're tired of seeing the same people that think that you have to be perfect in order to become successful, but being truly authentic for yourself is just something that builds trust. There's trust and positions you as a leader without even having to try, because people want you for you. They don't want you for being other people. It creates something where you can be something sustainable. It's something that is built to build community, and that's something that we truly need more of. That's something that just truly positions yourself into where you're going in the future. And that's really what the importance of media now with artificial intelligence. They're trying to automate our voices. They're trying to automate our systems, automate our videos, automate us into systems of us to think a certain way. But the truest thing that's most important now is your own true authentic voice, your own true authentic story, your own true authentic experiences. This is the most important age of technology. It's not about a lack of information, it's a lack of implementation and a lack of identity. People are going to get to the point where they don't even know what's real and what's fake. So being true to yourself in this age, people can build systems, they can build businesses, they can build different things. But if people lose their sense of self, that's the biggest thing. If you don't know who you truly are and where you're going to be, that's something that can truly stop you from reaching those things that you want to accomplish down the line. And that's truly what we're building. It's important to that. The people who are the most successful are people who stay true to themselves, regardless of what things happen. And like I say, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be true to myself. And that's the same way you can live your life. It's okay. The people that people tried to mess with in high school, or people that talked about, or people that have genius ideas. The people that tried to fit in and try to be cool now are the people that aren't cool, so cool anymore. I understand that it's not even about comparisons. Everyone's on a different path. So even if you talk about Michael Jordan, you talk about Kyrie Irving, you talk about these different people and legends, they all had different stories, different situations would put them in their specific position. So their life isn't even linear to yours. So we're always comparing ourselves to these different ideas, these different standards, these different things on social media, these different things in movies, and it's not even on the same time frame or same lineage of where you're going to be down the line. So understand you're not behind, you're just on a different lane, and you're a special lane that you're going to go to your different height. Might be a different ladder, but you're going to go to a higher place. You just got to go and take the opportunity. So that's the biggest thing I'd say. What do you guys feel like is the most important era right now? We're in this era of automation, we're in this age of AI, and we have a lot of people who don't know where the future might be. They see a lot of things with AI. They don't know what the job market. They don't know what's really happening for young people. Do you feel like, in what ways can we as young people be able to adjust to this new economy, be able to continue to find ways where we can be able to work together and in order to build together as a community, in terms of economics, in terms of collaboration, in terms of building wealth, in terms of just being able to not necessarily have to just rely on the system, but in terms of creating our own system in our own community, in our own ideas where we can truly become successful.
Well, I'd probably say that we are the generation that can definitely do that, because I would say our generation is basically the first generation to have this type of technology. Because when we were probably about in kindergarten, the iPhone came out. So the technology was just introduced in our childhood, and it got to a point where we grew up without the digital social media, and then we kind of got integrated in it around like middle school. So it's something where we were in an age, and even the future generations to come are in a digital we're in like a digital presence. And even the digital elite class is that it's a group of individuals who basically are very technological and are able to know a lot about device ownership, or have a lot of information on a lot of knowledge on digital products. So I would say that we are the generation that can really do it. So that I would say the best that we can do it is to learn the system, learn why they're creating AI, learn what AI prompts they're doing, what AI bots are doing, and to really utilize it to our advantage, whether you are in social media trying to figure out a way to better way in social media trying to figure out a way to how to be more proper when it comes to speaking, you can figure out prompts and learn new ways to go about that. Or when it comes to, let's say, learning on how to operate things, learning new insight on things, is to you can learn at a fast pace that we weren't able to 5 years ago, and things like that. So I would just say just to utilize the technology. We grew up in an age where we know about this, so we are basically the ones who have the greatest advantage when it comes to AI or learning AI. So I'll just say to take advantage of that time period.
That's right. I would love to give a little bit of knowledge in terms of this. Corey, like you said, in this AI age, how can we maximize our strengths so that we don't have to rely on AI? Yeah, we can rely on each other, right? First off, I think it means relying on yourself first. Wealth is not money alone, but wealth is a mindset. With AI being something that is new, I think it's now time to expand our mindsets. Nonetheless, this is something that we can learn. We can learn AI, right? And what does AI help us to do? It helps us to do things that would otherwise, if we had to do on our own, it would take way longer, right? AI buys back your time, but you don't use AI to replace you or your ideas or your thoughts. You use AI to enhance. Nonetheless, as a health science student, I've used AI to build up on the thoughts that I have, to give me prompts for so I can further critically think about certain topics or about certain ideas. And that's really what I got in my heart to say. You are AI. AI is not you. You learn the system and you added your creativity into the system to have it work for you.
Absolutely. That's something that's truly built. AI is something that's not going to replace you. It's something that can be a whole entire and amplify who you truly are. It's not the future, it's things that's here in the present. And just continue to use it to understand yourself, understand your flaws, understand your goals, understand your strengths, but build clarity in your life. Understand on how you can position yourself to succeed regardless of what happens. Be able to input data, understand large language models, how to prompt engineer, how to be able to get different decisions and outcomes based off of data points and ideas. It should accelerate your learning. It's not something that learning is the biggest thing right now is not even about the information. We have information. It's something that's readily available. But the thing is, people don't need to know how to quantify data. They don't know how to make decisions. They don't know how to go and critically think. Use this as something to amplify a bigger version of yourself that you typically might not be good at. Information that you can easily get. Be able to go and use it to create content. It should be something that you create a whole entire system. Identity plus skill plus ownership. Communities. AI is a new generation of wealth in this economy. For people who can know information, anyone can become an author. Anyone become a content creator. Anyone can become a prompt engineer. Anyone can create opportunity. This is a whole entire opportunity of wealth that will be created over the next 5 years. There will be more millionaires created through AI in the next 5 years than the internet it did in 20. So you all have to understand that it's not okay to go against it. You have to be for AI if you want to have something to have ownership in your future. Because if not, someone else will. Instead of one person working at Amazon, you have one person operating 10 robots. The future will have two types of factories, one that builds robots and one robots are working for us. So you have to understand where the future is headed. Stop thinking about just driving our car. The soon autonomous vehicles will be driving everywhere. We'll be parking in Uber. Soon we'll be creating places where we'll have AI, robotic, doing our laundry, doing our clothes, doing our dishes, things like that. It's here to stay. And understand that people can truly not be replaced with people that have authentic signature ideas, their own authentic ways of leadership, things that people need. If you're not able to build a system, if you're not able to build a community, if you're not able to build your skill set, those are three different things that you can do in building a successful next 5 years. Build a community and understand these different systems that could help implement that into your life and whatever you're doing. Because after COVID, people had lost that connection with others. People lost their sense of identity. People lost their sense of health, that sense of wealth. And things are continuing to go towards the future for those who understand those things.
Corey, I really do agree with you. As you say, you have to focus on these areas of your life in order to grow in this day and age where AI is taking over, right? Nonetheless, I think one more thing. As we are seeing the trends in AI grow and develop, you can either get with the system or you can learn the system and create your own versions of the system. One more thing is starting to show up, the emerging importance of trades. Oftentimes now we're starting to see union electricians, people who are good with their good handymen, who are starting to get the opportunity to become the next wave of millionaires. So if you're not somebody that's interested in learning the game of AI, again, it's important for you to do so. I now think that you should start to look into the trend that's going to allow you to be able to be the best version of yourself. And I want to expand about trades, or if you know anything about that, I'd like for you to, give some wisdom in regards to how trades during the wave of AI would be beneficial.
So as you say, a lot of different things. Artificial intelligence. It's important that there's a huge demand for trades. People with college degrees, people that are highly educated but don't have AI, are going to get priced out by these large language models. But the biggest thing that we need in this new AI wave is people who understand that we need to build up the infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure in the United States. We need hundreds of thousands of jobs to build the ecosystems. We need people who are carpenters and electricians. We need plumbers. We need dentists. We need all these different types of different careers that are not going to go out of business. We need them even more than ever. And as we build out these different ecosystems, if someone wants to be able to have a job and be able to make a standard living, that's something that people can do. You can make 6 figures coming out of doing their trade school. And that's something that people need to understand. That's another avenue, that just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're going to be useful. A good degree without action and connections, you're not going to be in just a lot of debt. So understand that college is not the only option. But understand that you utilize these different systems, these different structures to be able to have ownership in yourself, because we can't have the government bail us out of student loan, and we don't know where the job economy will go as far as job openings. The one thing that is open is an opportunity for you to own your life, and an opportunity for you to get into trades, an opportunity for you to take advantage of, because this is something that you can learn and you can implement today. It's either get ahead or you get behind.
But even, I'll say, even going into AI, is that AI is basically just as good as the prompt is, because if you really think about it, AI is basically almost like a yes man, or AI is like a person that I would say helps you with the ideas you already have. So if you put in a stupid prompt, you're gonna get a stupid answer because it's basically feeds off of whatever you give it. So if you give it a what's 1 + 1, it's gonna give a basic answer. But the thing is, if you want it to work the way that you want to do it, you have to prompt it in a way that is a way to articulate it in the way that you're trying to think it. So if you're trying to get it to think logically, say logically, or if you're trying to get it to create a spin to it, you have to say that. So even like the way that I use it for my brand is that that's honestly how I was able to develop my branding business as fast as I was, is that I was able to develop it based on asking AI different prompts, different things. So when I would have an idea, I'm like, what about this? So like when it comes to names, I was like, what about this? And it gave me a generation of names. And I'm like, I don't like this. And then I keep on pondering and I'm like, oh, this is a great idea. What about this? Is it taken? Or something like that. And it'll give me a list of names that are taken, list of names that aren't, and like things like that. But the moral of this idea is that you want to use AI to amplify what you already have, like Corey and Ian already have stated, but to allow your creative nature to explore the paths of what you're trying to do, so that you plug in your creative nature, be like, what you think about how can I logistically go about doing this? And then it'll give you a plan on how to do it. So utilize it as you are the blueprint, and it basically is to tell you how to, and it helps you say this is the fastest way to get to point A to point B.
Absolutely. This is something that's most important. That the people who are going to become successful in this new age of AI, it's not about people who win, not the ones with the most money, it's not people with the most followers, but it's the people who have built real specialized skills, the people who continue to show their voice, people that stay relevant, especially in the time of AI. Ownership is the one that decides security. They want us to think that we have only a certain value within ourselves. But people who truly think of themselves as someone who's truly worthy of it, someone who's truly able to implement it, and someone who's able to continue to build that to the next person that they become. Something that's most important is building that community within your life. Having people around you that's going to push you, people that's going to help you bring you to new heights. You can't do it alone. They want us to keep ourselves isolated. They want us to be in our own thoughts. They want to keep us divided in a way where we can't think for ourselves. They want us to project ourselves and only being athletes, entertainers, or only being different things. But they don't want to see us in a higher level. They don't want to see the things that you can learn from the past that you can implement towards the future. All this stuff you've seen before in history, the people who stay resilient, the people who have that true identity within themselves, the people who continue to educate themselves, that continue to read, that continue to grow, to have an open mindset instead of being closed. It doesn't matter what your political party is. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter where you raised. This is something that's here to stay, and those who take advantage of it will thrive. Those people that stay resilient, those people who work together, the people who have a sense of identity, that have a sense of purpose. That's the biggest thing that no one can take away from you. No matter what AI can do, no matter how many people they put in your house, no matter how many videos they put online, you have to understand not what is their reality, but what's your reality. And a lot of people are trying to project their lives in a way that isn't real. But we need people who are actually going to be real with themselves and then with each other. And that's the biggest thing that we need in this age of AI. That is, you have to understand your EI, your emotional intelligence, and then you can be able to utilize that to go against the artificial intelligence. Understanding how you feel. It's okay to feel different. It's okay to be different. It's okay to understand yourself. It's okay to love yourself. Because it starts with you. No one's going to come and save you. So you have to save yourself. In your mind, build that in your mindset, build that in your faith, build that in your community, build that in your health, and then you'll build your wealth. But if you don't have this right, that's the biggest thing that's going to stop you from success. So it's really something that we just need to emphasize, how we have these conversations. We shouldn't be the exceptions. We should be the standard. We should be the standard of how we work together. We shouldn't be the only people speaking on entrepreneurship, talking about home ownership, talking about different avenues of career, talking about leadership, talking about faith, talking about purpose. That's the thing that we truly need. They want us to stick to society and let any and everything go. But they don't want to put us in the ground so we can build seeds to grow. And put things in books so we can read things and let ourselves know. And that's where we see those things happen over the course of time. And that's truly what it's all about. And that's for me. I spoke all my stuff today.
Likewise. But
Yeah, like I said, nonetheless, it's a pleasure being on the live with all y'all. Before I leave, I gotta tell y'all some wisdom. Something my uncle told me some time ago. He said, Primo, he said, you have been blessed with an abundance of knowledge and wisdom. He said, but it's selfish to keep it all for yourself. There's somebody that needs to hear the wisdom that you have. Or it's not serving you no more. Therefore, you must be a blessing to somebody else. So thank you for this platform to give us the ability to be blessings to other people, to use the information and the wisdom that has been given to us so that we can give it to other people and be collaborators in this movement.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing. How we can work together. Because before the course of history, we always had all we had was each other. All we had was each other. So that's the greatest thing. I know it's getting late, so that's going to end our call tonight. We're going to be back at it with our families. We got Thanksgiving. We got the holidays coming up. I know we'll be here next Wednesday before Thanksgiving. People that don't know, I have a wealth building family financial night next Wednesday from 7 to 8:30. With your family, you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, learn how to build wealth, open your retirement accounts. Use these sales not for your clothes and shoes, but use it for the stocks and investments. Build the real estate, to build your stocks, to buy gold, to buy crypto, to buy all these different things that can change your life. And buying assets over liabilities. Make sure to join my family wealth night. It is in the bio of this YouTube link. Bring your friends, bring your family, all on the call. The special Black Friday sale. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Corey Phillips 3. Make sure to continue to check out our panel's page. Make sure to subscribe to the content. Follow them on their page. And we're going to continue to do this next week. So, you guys have anything else before you get off the call? Where they should find you?
Yeah, brothers and sisters, thank you again for y'all's time. My name is Ian Alphonse. You can find me at Ian.Alphonse on Instagram, as well as I'm building my new brand again under Wealthy Kingdom, the way in which you spell it, WHEALTHY Kingdom. That's it. That's how you can find me.
I would say you can find me on Instagram with Christian_Phillips2. You can find me on TikTok with Christian Phillips 20, and that's where you guys can find me.
Make sure to subscribe and follow them all. You all follow me again. My website, CoreyPhillips.org. If you want to book me as a speaker, you're going to connect, work with us. Feel free to go there. So you all have an amazing night. We'll be back next Wednesday and continue to share this information to your friends and your families. And we all have an amazing rest of your week.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.